Hello, today I'll be showing you how to create a very simple and eye-catching text effect that you can implement into your websites, posters, projects, or anything really. So I'm going to be using Adobe Illustrator for this, but you could do it in Photoshop as well. I just prefer Illustrator because it works with vectors and it's a lot cleaner. So without further ado, let's get started. Alright, so we're starting with a blank canvas. And for the first thing we want to do is we want to create a background for our text. So we're going to select the rectangle tool and we're going to cover the whole canvas with this rectangle. Now you're going to want to make sure that there's no stroke, and for this fill you don't necessarily have to do what I'm doing, but I'm going to go with a sort of turquoise color. Something around maybe a little more greenish. Yeah, something around there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the layers panel up here. I'm going to lock this layer so we don't accidentally move it around. And I'm going to create a new layer for our text. So I use type tool. I'm going to type out our text. Alright, great. So for this I'm going to be using a font called Russo 1, which I believe is one of the default Windows text, but you don't necessarily have to use this font. The main reason why I'm using it is because it's very thick. It has thick characters, and that allows the effect to be a bit more prominent. You'll see what I mean when I'm actually done with the effect. So, pretty happy with the size. Change it up here. If you want to make it smaller, make it bigger. I'm gonna keep it around there. So now that we're done with this, now that we're happy with what the text is, I'm going to create outlines, and I converted this to a vector. So this is also grouped up here. If you want to select each individual letter, you can do so. Clicking this little circle here, that selects an individual part. You can move it around. Or if you are going to be doing that very often, what you can do is right click and ungroup. And what this does is that instead of moving the whole text around, now you can move each individual letter. Alright, but for our purposes we're going to keep this grouped. Object and group, or you can press Ctrl G. So now what we're going to do is Command or Control C to copy this whole group, and Command and Control or Control V to paste it once again. So now we have a duplicate of this text. We're going to want to have this below our original text, and well, right now you can't really tell the difference, so we're going to make it a different color. For the second color I'm going to go with magenta. A little darker. Alright. Looks good. But it's a little bit not how I want it. I'm going to tweak this a little bit so that it's just where I want it. I want it to be sort of offset to the top right, top left corner, so that it looks sort of 3D. Alright, now for the next step we're going to do this again with a different color. Control C, Control V. Move this to the back and change its color. Now we're going to make it sort of neonish yellow, around there. Move this a little closer. There, I think that's good. Alright, so now we have our text, but we're gonna wanna add, well, I wanna add a stroke on the bottom because it looks a bit too simple. So for that, what I'm gonna use is the pen tool. Simply click on the screen, makes the first anchor point, and click again, connect it. Now we have a line, and we're gonna make this curve down a little bit, just about here. Alright, now hold control, click on the screen, that deselects everything. And now with control held again, click on this path, and we're going to want to make this a stroke instead of a fill. So we can just hit this little swap button here, and now it's a stroke, which is a little bit too thin. So let's increase the stroke size. Let's go to properties and bring it up to about here. Alright, so we don't really want this to be so jagged, so let's go to our pen tool, control, hold control, click on your path, select your path, and now you're going to want to hold Alt and drag to curve this line. From there should be good. Go to our selection tool again, move this down a little bit. There. So now that we have this, we're gonna want to make this look a little bit more like an actual marker stroke, which is kind of what I'm going for. So to do that, there's two ways to do this. You can select one of the presets up here, and that'll automatically make you a stroke you can paint with, but for our purposes, we're gonna make it a little bit more customized. So we're gonna go to the width tool, and the width tool selected, I'm gonna go to the end of this stroke here. I'm gonna click on it, and I'm gonna hold left click, make it as thin as possible. That's gonna be the thinnest point of the line. So now what we have is sort of like going from the thinner, the thinner part of the marker to the thicker, more chisel tip of the marker. We can smooth this out a little bit more though. So again, let's go to the width tool, click, drag, change the width. Alright, something else you can do with the width tool, if you hold Alt, you can change the width of only one side, which is pretty handy, but for this purpose I'm just going to keep it symmetrical. Alright, so I made a few tweaks to this line, but I think it looks good already. So now, same process. Control C, Control V, paste another line. Change the color, but we're gonna want to have the same color, the same purple that we have up here. So select your selection tool, select the second layer, this pink layer, and double click on this color here, and you're gonna want to copy with Control C this hex number. Click OK. I'll go back to this stroke, double click on stroke, and Control V hex from this layer, and now we have a purple line that is exactly the same color as this. Align that, make sure it's aligned properly, and I'm gonna want to have this yellow stick out in front for the stroke, so it's a little bit different. So let's move this, the layers panel, let's move this down so the yellow's in front. And we're gonna do this one last time. Make sure it's aligned. Looks good. Move this back. And turn it pitch black. And that, my friends, just about wraps up our text effect. Hopefully you were able to learn something from that. If you did, I would really appreciate if you leave a like or even subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them down in the comments. Or if you have some feedback on how I should improve my videos, it's also very appreciated. I'll make sure to answer as many comments as I can. And yeah, see you in the next video.